Have you ever heard of something called grub pie? Hi Peas, my name's Taylor and you're watching Pets in a Pod, and today it's one of those days where I found something cool and I just want everybody to know about it. Have you ever heard of Repashy Grub Pie? Now wait, even if you have, don't click away. I have some ideas for you. But this is what it looks like. So if you've ever maybe seen it in the store, passed by it, here, focus on that camera. So you've ever seen it or passed by it and you were interested in it, today is gonna be the video for you. So this is Repashy Grub Pie, and I do wanna say Repashy has a whole line of powdered food mixes. They have ones for your insects, just for roaches, blue-tongued skinks specifically, tropical animals, fruit-eating animals, monitors, but this one is kind of a generalized insect-based diet, which means it could work for things including monitors, including blue-tongued skinks, without having to buy the more specialty brands. So if you have a variety of animals like I do, grub pie is gonna be a really good option. But what am I talking about? What is grub pie? So today, I'm gonna talk about what it is, why I think it's a good choice. I will show you how to make it, and then we're gonna feed it to some of my animals. Repashy Grub Pie and their other food variety choices are basically powdered food mixes. Specifically, the label here reads, it's an insect-based meal replacement gel for insectivorous species. So what this is it comes in a powder form, which is why it's in this cool bottle here, and you add water to it, and then instantly you have this food. It will solidify into a gel, and then you can feed that chunk of food to your animals. And it's not gel like Jello, it's more of just kind of like a soft pate consistency in my opinion, kind of more like cat food. So you just take the powder, the water, you let it set, and then it becomes this nutritious food. So I first want to say there is no replacement to live, well gut-loaded insects. If you have access to a variety of insects and you gut load them and you're changing those things out, honestly, there's no replacement to that. It's not only good nutritionally, but it also stimulates your animal because they're having to hunt something, and these insects would be live and moving. Now, why does this exist? So I'm gonna tell you why I actually keep this on hand and why I like it a lot. So number one, I think the most obvious reason for keeping Repashy Grub Pie or any of the other brands on hand is because if you live in an area where you potentially cannot get insects due to like natural disasters, or you can't keep them alive, or I don't know, power out or something. So basically people who are in situations where like hurricanes, tornadoes, blackouts, blizzards, where you are stuck in your house and you can't get people to you either, this is a huge, important, great option. This should be in everyone's emergency kit. Now, I live in an area where natural disasters are few and far between, and if natural disasters happen, I'm not necessarily out of being able to drive somewhere and still get access to insects. I still keep it on hand though, because one big thing that we all might have noticed is during COVID, a lot of shipments for a lot of types of products kind of dropped down. Roaches disappeared from my local pet stores, and roaches are a big deal for me, feeding wise. So this powdered diet is perfect for emergency situations because it's powdered and it's kept in a plastic bottle, and it has an amazing shelf life. I really like the powdered diet because you can just leave it in a closet like I do, and if you ever need it, awesome. Now the second reason I really like this product is actually because it helps cut down on cost when feeding insects. So this single jar currently is $20 on Amazon, which is where easiest to get, but it's $20 on Amazon. And although that might seem pricey for a jar this size, you have to remember that you're not feeding it at this size. You mix it with water and it gels up and expands in a way. So you get a lot more than you see for $20. And you also have to compare it to whatever you're currently feeding with your own insects, because insects are actually expensive when you consider things and you add up the costs. So this helps cut down costs on insects because you should be feeding live insects for the most part, but then maybe once a month you can mix this in, and then that will kind of just cut down on overall cost. I think it's gonna be time to cook this. So before I show you how to make it, why don't we check out the ingredient list real quick? So this is the ingredient list. You are totally free to screenshot this and look at it a little slower if you'd like. But as you can see, it is jam-packed with insects and good nutritious stuff for your animals. It also does contain calcium, which is why, again, it's a perfect emergency food resource. And so we're gonna go ahead and make this. I'll show you how to make it. Oh, and one more thing. You don't have to feed it as a solid like you're about to see. You can keep it really runny and liquefied, almost kind of like Pangea. And you can also feed it to things like geckos that like a more liquefied diet. Okay, so step number 1 is to have hot water. You can either boil water on a stove, or the quickest way is to microwave it. So I'm only gonna make a little bit today, which is why I have a shallow dish or a skinny dish, so it'll kind of keep it bunched up. But I'm just gonna do the bottom with some water and then heat that up in the microwave for like a minute or 2. The water is nice and hot, and now what you're supposed to do is you're gonna have 2 parts water to 1 part powder. So I think that's gonna be about 2 shovels. I don't even know where I got this. It's a shovel. 2 shovels worth, which is about like a teaspoon maybe of water. Anyway, follow the directions best you can, but anyway, just a hefty scoop and a less hefty scoop. Now, warning, this stuff is smelly, and so you just make sure you mix it really well, and it is gonna smell, for my biology people, if you have a biology background, or maybe chemistry too, it smells like fresh agar. If you've ever made agar gel plates, it smells like that. Which is kind of funny in my opinion. Now what you can do is you can leave it out at room temp and it'll solidify on its own. By the way guys, speaking of refrigerators, another point that makes this such a good product is once you make it, you can actually store it in the refrigerator for like up to 5 days. So that means you can make this in batches and feed it over the course of the week as well, which is again why it's good for emergency situations and kind of just time saving, money saving, but they do eat it when it's not hot, freshly made, at least in my experience. So let's come back in 10 minutes. It's in the fridge right now. I'm gonna give it 5 to solidify in there and then another 5 to cool, warm up, another 5 to warm up on the counter, and then I'll be chopping it up and feeding it to some animals. So it's done, it's right here. And as you can see, I did chop it up. I do have one big chunk right here. That's gonna be for the blue tongue. But yeah, it just creates this little like jelly pate consistency, and you could very easily pick it up with tongs. It is sort of soft, so you don't wanna be like super grippy with them. And that's also why I kind of cut them into bigger chunks. As you'll see in a second here, I'm gonna feed these to my keel bellies first. And these are too big for them to eat on their own, but I like to have it like that because I'll hold one end while they bite off on the other. So keel bellies are up first. So as you can see, keel bellies love it. Lizards like this, insectivores, lizards love this stuff. They do like the smell as well. I will say it can be messy feeding because if they take bites and the bites drop, just be aware of that, but your cleanup crew should also be able to eat it. Next we have my Ackie monitor, who is getting crazier and crazier with age. Also, if you haven't seen me do this before, I'm trying to sight train him to learn that when he sees the red, color red in general, but this red bulb specifically placed, he knows it's gonna be food time. That's just so when he doesn't see it, but I open the cage, there's no food involved, so please do not attack me. But anyway, last time I gave this to him, he liked the smell, he was taking it, but he kept spitting it out, so we'll see today. So he took a bite again, it's in his mouth. Oh, he swallowed it, okay. He's doing good today then. Aw, he's so cute. I hope you guys can see his little eating. What a good boy. Very polite today. So the tough part with monitors, as you can kind of see, they like their food moving. They do not like easy prey. But along with that means but they like it, so just be warned, some of your reptiles might not have an interest in it because it's not actively moving, and it might take some training for them to understand that they can still eat this, even if it doesn't seem interesting. Okay, next up we have Amoeba. Amoeba is my leopard gecko. She's making her way up from back in that corner right now, so she'll be here in a second. But I do want to say with leopard geckos, or at least with mine, she did not like the smell of it. She was like repulsed and didn't actually want to eat it to start. But what I did is I actually like kind of rubbed it on her lips a little bit, and she licked the flavor from her lips, and then she realized what it was, and that's when she took a bite, and now she actually likes it. So we'll see if she remembers that this is good, but there might be a little disgust in the beginning because she doesn't like the smell. Okay, so she's right here. She's looking at it. She just tasted it and chomp. So if you didn't catch that, she was less repulsed today, but she did have to investigate it first, and now she's chomping away at it. So my last taste tester here is Hades, which is my blue-tongued skink. So there goes Hades acting crazy. The food is right here. You can kind of see the lid there. He knows what time it is, and he can smell it. So for Hades, I'm gonna put the food on his little dish there because I don't want to give him all of the food that I have. I'm gonna save some of it. Oops, I just dropped a whole bunch. And you can see how much he likes it. I'm not even getting a chance to put it in the enclosure. He's going crazy. And like I said, they do make a specific blue-tongued skink one. So if you're interested in just feeding a blue-tongued skink, they do make a mixture just dedicated to these guys. But like I said, if you have multiple reptiles and you want a food that, again, save cost because you can buy one food type, feed many, the grub pie is a good one because it'll feed a lot of insectivorous animals. Alright guys, that's it as far as grub pie goes. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was informative, and if you like videos like this, I do post every Friday, always on the theme of like animal education. And so also if there's something you want me to try, feel free to put it in the comments. And this is my reminder to have you subscribe as well, so you don't forget on Fridays and you make sure you come back. Subscribing helps me. Turning on the little doorbell thing helps you. And I will see you guys next week. Have an excellent Friday. See you later.